Hi, I'm Dr. Datis Kharrazian, and I want to share with you an exciting story about Albert Einstein's brain. When Albert Einstein died in 1955, and he was at Princeton University, and he was at the hospital there, and they were trying to do a biopsy to find his cause of death, the pathologist doing the biopsy, a guy named Dr. Thomas Harvey, decided on his own, without family permission, to take Einstein's brain, and he basically stole it and felt that this is a really important part of understanding how the brain works, and he was a genius, and what's different about his brain. And later on, people found out about this brain, and they started doing research about it, and the family finally consented to allow his brain to be studied. And this was very exciting for many neuroanatomists and neuroscientists, because they thought, well, this was the genius of our time, and what was his brain, and how was it different than everyone else's. So they went through and studied the brain, and they didn't really find anything. They found he had a little bit more astrocytes, actually a lot more astrocytes than the people, but astrocytes really aren't involved with brain function. And then that was it. That was the end of the story. And that's really been ignored, and many people said, well, we didn't really find anything in his brain. However, everything has changed. Now what they've discovered is astrocytes are absolutely critical. So in the past few years, less than the past 5 years, there's been an explosion of research with astrocytes too. And Einstein had very, very, very high amounts of astrocytes, more than the typical human brain. And what astrocytes do is they really help neurons function at their prime and at their peak. So astrocytes are involved with neuron homeostasis. They help neurons fire, they help neurons connect, they help neurons efficiently get rid of neurotransmitter issues that they don't need, and optimize growth factors. And there's been even research that has shown that when astrocytes fire at a 6 to 80 hertz, they dramatically have an impact on cognition, memory, and recall. So mind-blowing stuff. They've always thought these astrocytes were just basically glue cells, and all they did was really just keep neurons together, and there's no other function. So now, as we look at all this research being done and really look at Einstein's brain, maybe one of the main reasons that he was really the genius of our time was he had such high astrocyte count in his brain. Now, we all have astrocytes in our brain. At times we can lose them. They die off just like neurons. He was able to maintain his astrocytes. And another area of explosion in research is really this brain-gut axis relationship. And what they're finding is that the gut microbiome actually communicates directly with astrocytes, that the gut microbiome releases these different peptides and growth factors, and these peptides go up the vagus nerve from the gut all the way up into the brain stem, and then activate astrocytes throughout the brain, and this really starts to connect this whole brain-gut axis and how important these things are. So major stuff happening in the world of neurology, and really helping us understand how we can improve patients that have brain impairment and brain dysfunction. Now, in a clinical setting, what we do know is that when people have brain inflammation, astrocytes no longer really manage neuron homeostasis. They have to switch to soldiers, and microglial cells and other cells in the brain that are involved with this immune response have to then deal with an inflammatory load, and this homeostasis pattern is switched off. So one of the things that's really important as a clinician to understand is what's all this new research, what's happening with the gut-brain connection, what's happening with astrocytes, what are these glial cells doing, how do they turn on, how do they turn off, how do we implement diet, nutrition, lifestyle activity to really make a difference for how these cells function. Because I can tell you, it's no longer just about neurons and synapses and neurotransmitters. The immune component of brain function is really where we're seeing some of the major breakthroughs and clinical applications. And I've developed a very comprehensive course to really teach you all this new research and how you can actually apply it into your practice. So hope to see you in our neuroinflammation course, and thank you for your attention.